Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 19 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I build my viewers' teams into the best team possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squad is currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 9,000 subscriber mark on the channel. We are joined today by special guest Tanaka. I've done a bunch of videos with Evan this year. They're going to keep on coming. Appreciate you coming on, Evan. How we doing after that just painful Lakers game?
Yeah, so man, I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Like, if me and Jason are a little bit rattled, though, we do apologize. So if we just watched that Lakers game where LeBron and that whole incident with the foul, I mean, we're gonna give you guys our suggestions and our best ratings and stuff like that for the teams and our suggestions, but I don't know what to say, man. That Lakers game was absolutely unreal. Like, I don't know.
I'm sure a lot of y'all watched that game as well. I just wanted to mention it because that was like one of the more ridiculous regular season games I've ever seen in terms of refereeing, and like huge game on a national audience, Saturday night prime time on ABC, and it's like, oh, that was a mess. I am actually going to, I've never mentioned this before on this channel, but I have an NBA channel that I started uploading on about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I'm gonna leave it, there's a link to it in the description below. Go check out that channel. I'm gonna be dropping a video on the Lakers and on last night's game as well. So if y'all wanna go check that out, there will be a video over there as well. But without further ado, that's a long enough intro. Let's actually hop into rating some teams. Starting off with this first team here, which comes in from HK. He's got over 2 million MT, which is a ton of MT, and a really good team as well. Like, every player on his team is very solid. With that being said, I don't know if Evan agrees with me, but you got 2 million MT. The one person I would be getting is Yao Ming. He's the best card in the game. He is a difference maker. And I don't recommend cards that are that expensive, like almost ever. But I kind of think Yao Ming is kind of the guy to go with. You also have the option of going and getting James Harden and Vince Carter and adding those guys as point guard, shooting guard, and selling SGA and Luol. You could do that if you want to. But for me personally, I might just go get Yao Ming and kind of call it a day for now. What do you think, Evan?
I don't think that's a bad suggestion for the Yao. If you want to do that, I think that actually is the best possible move you can do for your team. But I honestly think possibly going with what JC said with James Harden, either starting over Magic or, off the bench with a guy like Vince Carter, like having that duo, together, that'd be crazy off the bench over guys like Shea and Luol Deng. And then you could possibly even get a better backup center, whether you want to go Kareem, maybe you grind it for Tim Duncan. It doesn't look like you have Larry Bird or, Tim Duncan, but I think a Kareem could be a lot better, especially next to a guy like Bob Nedelecki. But I think Yao Ming, if you have 2 million MT and you really want to have like an easier way to win games, I think he's the best card to get. Even though he's 2 million MT, which is a crazy price tag, I still feel like he probably is worth it for this team. Already have a really good base of a squad, but I do think, honestly, if you want to go for a little bit cheaper, only spending about 1 million MT, I think getting James Harden, Vince Carter, and Kareem could definitely improve your squad. And after you do that, I think your team is pretty much, not perfect, but one of the best teams you could build in the game.
He already has Kareem, because he has Tim Thomas.
Oh yeah, he has Tim Thomas. Yeah,
he might just prefer D-Rob and Wang, which if that's the case, I mean,
that's fine. Cool. Yeah,
maybe you just get Harden and Vince and then go and rock out. It's one of the two. I'd get Harden and Vince, or I'd get Yao. Kind of up to you, depending on how much MT you want to spend, to be honest. All right, second team.
I agree with that.
What do you think, Evan?
But looking at the squad here from my boy Dan, he's got not 2.1. He's got 1.2 million MT. Haven't been playing the game recently, but he's back looking for some suggestions. So once again, I mean, not a bad team. You can tell that he hasn't played a little bit recently with some of these trophy case cards. They're not necessarily terrible, but there's just some better cards, especially once again with 1.2 million MT. There can be some massive changes to the team. I think the guys that are definitely going to stay, I mean, you could go Harden and Magic if you wanted to get the best point guards in my team. I think keeping Penny Hardaway, since he's unauctionable.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the unauctionable version. So I'd probably just keep him because he's still probably a top 3 point guard, very close with him in Magic, in my opinion. So I would just look to get a better backup point guard over Russ, whether you want to go James Harden, spend a lot of MT, but he's probably worth it, to be honest, or Magic Johnson. For your shooting guards, obviously like Dr. J, still super elite, one of the best shooting guards in my team. For me on the backup, on the bench, I would probably go with Kazi Russell if you're going to go with Magic Johnson over Russell Westbrook. But if you're going to go with James Harden, then I would probably go with Terry Dishinger just to kind of balance up the lineup a little bit. For your backup, 3, 4, and even 5 could all be upgraded. I think Kristaps is fine. I still do think he's a capable center. Obviously, one of the best poppers in my team. I think for your backup 3 and 4, though, definitely could be upgraded. I mean, whether you want to go like I'm trying to think of some players, man. I'm kind of stuck here on the small forward. I mean, like LeBron is a very good option as well. Still one of the best small forwards in my team. I think he could be your backup 3 behind a guy like Joe Smith. And then for the backup 4, there's a lot of great guys. Like, I mean, I don't know if you could afford maybe a Dirk. That might be a little bit expensive. I mean, you can't grind for Yee anymore, it doesn't look like. So maybe a Bob Nedelecki, but then that's not the best pairing with Kristaps. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do with this bench. I think that bench pretty much could be, all upgraded. So those would be my suggestions. But what do you think? You probably can fix up from stuff.
I
Some
got
stuff
a
I
10
missed
man
up
in
on.
mind, and I'll just kind of give you the 10 man. It's James Harden, Julius Erving, Joe Smith, Bob Nedelicki, and David Robinson. Then off the bench, you go with Penny, Terry, probably Andre Kirilenko at the backup 3, AD at the backup 4, and then at the backup 5, go with a Kareem, probably would be my take.
Yeah.
Or maybe even that new JaVale McGee, grind him out of the takeover card. He's probably a better option than KP, although honestly those two are pretty close. So you could also go KP if you'd like. But for me, I think you just go get those types of guys that I named. You go get James Harden for sure, and then it's Terry, AK, and then Bob Nedelicki at the 4 would be those guys. And then if you want to upgrade backup 5, you go Kareem, JaVale McGee. Otherwise, KP's going to keep working. But for me, that's the 10 man that I'd be building with your squad and your MTM out. Third team comes in from 1003. He's got 671,000 MT. He's looking to get rid of Dolph and get Dirk. But Dirk is expensive. He's right. So he might have to wait. Now, that's a good point. For me personally, I like this squad. We don't have any trophy case players or anything like that, and that's totally fine. It's a really good team, though. I mean, you have guys at every position who are really, really good cards. For me personally, though, I don't know if I'm going Dirk. I might be considering going Vince or James Harden instead. As much as I love Dirk, my favorite player of all time, and he's the best power forward in the game for most people anyway. I'd say probably, if I was ranking the best power forwards, I would put Dirk number 1 right now. I'll say that. But for me, you have the MT to go get one of those elite guards who are really going to make a huge impact on your team. So really, it's up to you which one you want to get between Harden and Vince, in my opinion. And I think that's your biggest upgrade. Maybe you swap out Tatum, who's pretty expensive, especially when evoed, for a guy like Andre Kirilenko as well, who's going to be cheaper and better defensively, as well as a little more size. Not as good of a shot creator or a shooter, but still a really good card. In my opinion, I would go get one of those 2 guards. And really, it's up to you which one of those 2 you would get, because both of them are the best at their position and incredible cards. But for me, just go get one of those 2 guys, swap out AK for Tatum to save some more MT, and that's about all I'd do. Anything you would change, Evan?
I think I'm pretty much leaning to what you're saying. I'm trying to think if there's maybe another player or 2 you could get, but honestly, I think the best thing to do is put Magic to the bench, put Harden at the starting point guard, because I think Magic and Kazi is probably a better pairing than Harden and Kazi, because that's a little bit not of the greatest defensive backcourt. So I'd say the better way to structure the lineup is probably start Harden with Terry Dischinger. Gives you a little bit more defense at the 2 for a guy like Harden, and then off the bench run Magic Johnson or Penny Hardaway if you wanted to keep him, and then Kazi Russell. But honestly, other than that, I think the team doesn't really need that many upgrades.
All right, well, there you go. 4th team, smaller picture. Sorry about that.
We gotta.
There's not a lot I can do, because even
there.
if I zoom it, I think.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't actually zoom it, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Oh, I just lost the team. There we go. It's kind of annoying, but regardless, what do you think about this squad, Evan?
Yeah, we got 700,000 MT. He's going to get Ray and Levine as well. So those can be some 2 shooting guards you could definitely run. I mean, this team honestly does need a big revamp. I hate how I always have to go first for these ones, because I got to think of a whole new team. So 700,000 MT.
I'm going to make this easier for you. Let's just build a
Okay.
lineup. With a team like this, I like to pull up 2KDB and just build a new lineup. So give me your thoughts.
700,000 MT.
Yeah.
Okay.
With this squad.
Point guards, we're going to go Magic Johnson and Donald. I think those can be your 2 point guards. That's about like 200,000 MT spend, maybe a little bit more. Donald's like 80,000 MT. I don't think Magic's much more than 120. I want to keep Yi and Lamar Odom. You can keep Lamar at the backup at the starting 3 for now. Go Yi, definitely starting though. You gotta type in Gene Lang first. Odom can stay. And then for the shooting guard position, I would probably go Terry Dischinger starting. I would say. I mean, he's pretty expensive, but I think you definitely can afford him. Backup 2,
There you go.
I kind of want to go somebody cheaper. Yeah, I was going to go Luol Deng or an Iguodala. That's kind of what I was leaning towards. Centers, let's go D-Rob. And if you have Wang, I would use him. I'm not sure if you have him.
He does, because he
does? Yeah. So get Wang. He's a nice backup 5. And then for that small 4 position, I'm not sure how much MT I've spent. I think a LeBron could be a solid option. I'm trying to think if there's a different small forward. AK-47. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea. And then that's what I was about to say. And then power forward, if you still got the MT, maybe a Larry Nance, really, at the 4.
I love this card. 6'10",
Love Larry Nance,
elite
okay.
defender.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I mean, that team's definitely under 700,000 MT, and that squad is. I mean, if we go back to the other page where his team was, that's a massive upgrade. That goes from a
comparison.
Yeah, that goes from a pretty average, not even average, just like a below average team, a bunch of trophy case cards, to like a very, that team is very, very capable. This new squad built, you can go into limited and have a lot of success. I mean, you got a pretty good squad there for only like 500,000 MT, maybe 600,000 at most.
I agree. I mean, this is big upgrades, and it's not going to cost you a ton of MT. The difference between this team and the team that we were just looking at is literally night and day. You go from a 2 out of 10 to an 8 or 9 out of 10. This team is way, way better. Easy upgrades right there. I think we built you a heck of a 10 man, to be completely honest. right here. But with that being said, we got 2 more teams in today's video. This team comes in from Luke. He's only got 18,000 MT, which is not a ton to work with, but he does have some players who have some pretty decent value, which I think, in my opinion, the biggest key for this type of squad is freeing up value and then throwing in guys who are the more budget options, in my personal opinion. So I would sell Ja and I would sell Hakeem. Oh, Hakeem's unauctionable. Never mind. I didn't realize he was unauctionable. So I would definitely sell Ja, though. As good as he is, he's expensive, and he's not like a top 3, top 1 type point guard in the game. He's not next level incredible at the point guard position. So for me, I'm selling Ja, and I'm throwing in guys like Penny Hardaway and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the point guard position personally. You could keep Donovan Mitchell if you want. I know Evan loves Donovan Mitchell. I don't. But if you like Donovan, maybe you just go get one of those 2 guys, Penny or SGA, and then play Donovan as your backup point guard. Dr. J is obviously elite. Go get a guy like Luol Deng at the backup shooting guard, though. Paul George, Wesley Person, they're not bad, but they're not great. Again, guy like Andre Kirilenko is a huge upgrade for this type of team. At the backup 3, maybe you keep Paul George because he's fine and he's unauctionable. The 4 can be Bob and Bam, and the 5 could be Hakeem and AD if you want. Or you can move AD to the backup 4, take Bam out of the lineup, and go buy another center, a guy like D-Rob. Grind for that JaVale McGee as well would be an upgrade at the center position. So I think things like that are the upgrades I'd be making. But the key to start with is selling Ja and the other things that you have that have MT to free up the MT to make those upgrades and build a better all-around team. What are you thinking, Evan?
All right, I'm about to go on a free card masterclass. I'm about to pull up my inner DBG.
Oh yeah, we have all those pink diamonds. You're right.
Yep. Listen. We're selling Ja, like JC said. We're getting Baron Davis. He's a good card. Say what you want about him, but for this team, I think we need a Baron Davis. You could also go Penny. He's not that expensive, but for what I have in mind, let's go Baron Davis and D-Mitch. I like shorter point guards. I know some people want the taller guys. I mean, if you're running Ja and D-Mitch right now, you seem to not mind having shorter point guards. So let me get Baron Davis, sell Ja Morant. 2 point guards going to be going to be Baron Davis and D-Mitch. 2 shooting guards, obviously Dr. J, keep him on the team. For the backup 2, easily Paul Pierce. He's a great free card. Only is 15 Clutch Him online wins and 30 Clutch Him offline. Either one, you don't have to do both. So very easy to get. Should only take you a couple hours. So that can be your 2 shooting guards definitely fixed. Now for small forward, I like Kukoc a decent amount. I don't think he's that great of a card, but if you wanted to use him in this team, he's definitely better than a Paul George. And is he better than Paul George? I'm not exactly sure, but
slightly anyway.
Probably better than Paul George and definitely better than Wesley Person at the small forward position. So Kukoc, we'll throw him in the lineup for now at the backup 3. We'll definitely replace Paul George here in a second with an AK now that we've sold Ja Morant. Power forwards though, Bob Nedelecki. I think Willis Reed might actually be better than Bam. I'll let JC. I think he is. So I'd go Willis Reed over Bam. And then at the center spot, I'd probably just get D-Rob and move Hakeem to the backup 5. You can honestly slide 80 to the 4 over Willis Reed if you wanted to. But your 5s could definitely be D-Rob and Hakeem. And then you should have enough MT left over to get yourself an AK-47 for that starting small forward spot. That's what I personally do. If you have a little bit MT left over from Ja, you can maybe go get a Don Ole or a Penny Hardaway. Just a little bit better point guard than Baron Davis. But I think use those free cards, definitely use them to your advantage, and this team is a lot better with those suggestions in my opinion.
I agree with Evan. All right, last team today comes in from Sean. I think this is Evan's team as well. So what are you thinking about this one, Evan?
I got 500,000 MT from my man Shaw. He's got Sean. Worthy is fully badged. I mean, I don't think Worthy's still that great of a card anymore, but he's not terrible. Maybe if he's like fully badged out, but for me, with 500,000 MT, you can definitely make a lot of upgrades for this team. I'm going to start with the point guard position. As much as I do like Shai, I think a Penny Hardaway or a Magic is definitely a pretty big upgrade over a guy like Shai, especially with how cheap they are. So get a Penny Hardaway or a Magic Johnson for the point guard position for your shooting guard spot. I mean, I really like that Iguodala. I think you could also grind for Paul Pierce as well. But for me, I like Iguodala a lot. You don't have to go for him, but Paul Pierce definitely has to be somewhere here in the squad, whether you want to play him over Luol Deng or Ricky Davis. I honestly think he's a little bit better than those guys, and you could sell them, maybe get a little MT back. Small forwards, you're fine. Tim Thomas, Joe Smith, amazing small forwards. Maybe the best and the second best small forward. Power forwards, Bob Nedelecki, obviously still one of the best. For your backup 4, even if Worthy's fully badged, I would still say a guy like Dolph Schayes is a lot better. And then for your center position, I would move Cream to the backup 5 and get D-Rob for the starting center position. That's definitely going to be under the 500,000 MT mark, and you still got some MT left over if you maybe want to pick up a Terry Dishinger for the shooting guard spot if you wanted to spend a little bit more MT. But all around, I think that squad definitely becomes a good amount better.
I'll give you an easy 10-man to build. Magic Johnson, Terry Dishinger, Tim Thomas, Bob Nedelecki, David Robinson. Off the bench you go Ole, Paul Pierce, AK, Joe Smith, and Kareem at the backup 5. That's the 10-man I'd build right there. I really think that's pretty simple. It's going to cost you less than 500k. Allows you to sell some of your players and free up some T while keeping some of the other ones, and just upgrading a bit all the way around. I think that's the ideal 10-man, at least in my mind, for this squad right now. Yeah, that's my personal opinion, to be completely honest. You could even go, if you don't want to go AK, instead you want to go Willis Reed, you can go Willis Reed at the back of 4, and you can go Joe Smith at the back of 3, like he is right now. It's kind of up to you, but for me, that's what I would do, at least with this team, to build the perfect 10-man. And yeah, that is the last team for today's video. Hope y'all did enjoy the video. Always enjoy doing these collab videos with Evan. We'll be doing another video over on his channel later this week. Probably a very similar video, another building your teams, rating your teams type of video. So be on the lookout for that over on his channel. Obviously, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below, so make sure y'all go drop him a follow, or I guess drop him a follow on Twitch, and then subscribe to him on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for coming on, Evan.
Sir, man, I will say, go watch JC's basketball channel. Make sure you go check it out. I'm sure he'll leave a link in the description down below. Go watch those videos. Amazing, honestly, basketball content. I will say, I know you guys are subscribed for the MyTEAM content, but if you guys are into IRL basketball, definitely check out his channel. Would definitely recommend it. But yeah, just excited to do more videos in the future, and happy to be on the channel once again.
We'll probably have to have Evan in a basketball video at some point as well. Maybe
sir,
when I do another video on the Raptors or something, I'll have to get Evan in on that one. But that may not be for a little bit, because I already did one on the Raptors. But yeah, that being said, appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.